Starbucks' drive for world dominance was not just upsetting their competitors. They were becoming a symbol of globalization. And alongside brands like Gap and Nike, Starbucks had become a focus for demonstrators.
We're an easy target because we're out there on the street. There are many other big brands in the world, but they're less accessible than perhaps we are. We're right there in the high street with them.
Starbucks have made gestures like selling Oxfam-approved coffee in their stores, but for some, big can only mean bad.
Starbucks has the worst reputation than the others, doesn't it? I try and avoid them.
I always remember that bit in the Austin Powers movie where the evil guy is sitting there and he's talking about how he's retaken his empire and he wants to go on global domination, and it pans out to the building and it's Starbucks, and then he says, the other guys say, well, actually, we've already done that.
It was this kind of backlash that caused problems when the Starbucks juggernaut pulled into this location in Primrose Hill in North London. The chair of the local conservation society, Richard Simpson, became the unlikely David to the corporate Goliath when he started a campaign to stop Starbucks moving in.
One of the negative things about Starbucks was that we know that they can afford very high rentals, and that the very high rentals in this area would be really devastating to the local service shops. And we felt this was an absolutely crucial issue in objecting to Starbucks' application.
The residents of Primrose Hill pride themselves on the village atmosphere of where they live. And it didn't harm Richard's campaign that a few of those residents were Hollywood stars, including Ewan McGregor and Jude Law.
It's obviously very, very helpful from a publicity point of view to have high-profile young stars supporting one.
The story was picked up in the press, and within weeks, Starbucks gracefully withdrew their application.
We didn't contest that, and that was the apparent will of the people in that district, in that area. And they chose not to want a Starbucks there, and we're okay with that.
While Starbucks suffered minor setbacks, the independents were having more immediate difficulties. Coffee Republic's share price had collapsed.
If you put money in on day one of the flotation, you've probably lost 90% of your money now.
Last year, Coffee Republic lost £7.5 million. Bobby Hashemi took a backseat during that year. He hit the headlines after a fling with former Spice Girl Geri Halliwell. While Bobby was otherwise engaged, the market left his company behind. Caffè Nero's Jerry Ford had his own problems. With £7 million of debt and pressure to keep expanding, his finances were stretched. But with his rival in difficulties, he smelt blood and saw a way to expand by taking them over. Rumours of his takeover plans had reached fever pitch. The city got involved and told Caffè Nero to put up or shut up by December the 20th. But did they really have the money to make the bid?
I think it would be quite messy and quite complicated. But I think that they would get backing from the banks and from their shareholders to raise any other finances needed, if they were needed, to make this bid. So they are, I think financially, they probably are in a position to do it.
It's into this atmosphere that Costa are opening on the Strand. Today is the first day in their new premises, which they share with building society Abbey National. It's their first chance to take business away from near neighbours Coffee Republic and Caffè Nero. In a market as tightly packed as coffee, the first priority is to attract customers into your bar. But it's not easy. We spent a morning on the Strand working out where the coffee money was going. On one side of the road, Coffee Republic and Caffè Nero, and on the other, Costa Coffee.
I usually go to Caffè Nero.
Coffee Republic, because it's the first one I saw.
Definitely Caffè Nero, it's the best.
I prefer Coffee Republic, yes. Starbucks is my favourite for the latte, although I have to say Costa is my favourite for the chocolates and Danish.
2 years ago, Coffee Republic were the only cafe on this site. In our experiment, they came out on top with 155 customers visiting. But it was soon clear how the arrival of the opposition had eaten away at sales. Next door, Caffè Nero, with a site a quarter the size, got 144 customers. And across the way, the newly opened Costa, run by Massimo, had 57 customers. The net result is that they're all eating each other's profits. It's now takeover deadline day. If Caffè Nero are to make a bid, they have to declare their hand, and there's news from the city.
Hi, Ian. Hi. I got your call about the coffee announcement that's just come out. Could you run me through that, please? There were talks last week between Caffè Nero and Coffee Republic. Caffè Nero were tentatively talking around the 4.5 pence level in terms of making an offer, and the Coffee Republic board basically just couldn't accept that. So there's been no formal bid put through by today's deadline. So that's it for the time being. We remain with 4 operators still.
For the first time in months, Bobby is free from the threat of losing his business.
It was under siege, and it was an uncomfortable feeling for myself, for the team at Coffee Republic, and for everyone who worked at Coffee Republic. And I think it's a great credit to the team that we've kept our focus.
We had some fantastic feedback on the cranberry and orange peel muffin. It was phenomenal.
I was having the
yeah. You know, we had someone here a week ago, and you guys fell over it for it. The guests loved it. Really, absolutely loved it. And you know, whilst we put it in there for a Christmas product, it's just gone so well, and we're going to keep it on in January. We're going to call it, put a little strapline on the ticket, a muffin's not just for Christmas. So a little bit of humour, but I mean, a phenomenal project that muffin of the month. And it's just Dr. Muffin, it's growing sales.
Bobby can now forget about his rival Jerry Ford and concentrate on making his business profitable. His first goal is the difficult task of getting rid of the worst loss-making bars.
The disposal program's been going to plan, and we are basically going to hit all the dates that we've been trying to hit.
Very quickly, we've moved to rationalize the business from the 105 bars or so we had in the beginning of the summer to an estate that's going to end up being around about 65 to 70 bars.